and the hair is scrubbed and dragged and bound into a ponytail is not even a protective style. You're completely neglecting your hair once you make the style, but it should not be so tight that you have a headache. The reason it's called a protective style is because it's low manipulation. To avoid constantly manipulating our hair. We keep talking about protective style this, protective style that, protective style this, but in the same vein, it's important to note that just as you make protective styles with the aim of protecting your hair, helping you retain length, helping you retain moisture, and helping you keep your hair healthy, you can also make a protective style, and at the end of the day, or by the time you take down that protective style, your hair is the complete opposite of what it was before you made the style. Meaning your hair can be very dry, very brittle. Instead of retaining length, your hair has broken tremendously, and your hair is just the exact opposite place of how it was before you made the protective style. So I'm going to be addressing some protective style mistakes you may be making that are costing you health, volume, length, and that are setting you back on your hair growth journey. A very brief description of a protective style is a hairstyle that you make with the main goal of helping you retain length, helping you retain moisture, helping you keep your hair healthy for the duration that you're wearing the style. We make protective styles to avoid constantly manipulating our hair, maybe every single day or every other day. We make protective styles to avoid having our hands in our hair. We make protective styles to look more presentable in quotes, maybe for office work or for everyday life. We also make protective styles to look beautiful, but aside beauty, the goal and the main reason why it is termed a protective style is because it helps you keep your hair healthy for a specific duration, and it also helps you retain length. So retaining length and keeping the hair healthy, they go hand in hand. Now, when it comes to protective styles, there are certain hairstyles and there are certain ways that you should make protective styles so that they actually do the work of protecting your hair instead of doing the opposite. This way, by the time you take down a protective style, whether you wear it for 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, you will observe that you have retained length, your hair will be in a better shape than before you made the style. Your hair may be softer, your hair may still feel moisturized, but two things your hair will not be is feel very dry and brittle and break excessively. Good examples of protective styles include cornrows, twists, braids, threading, wearing wigs, wearing weaves, and a number of other styles. Apart from pointing out the mistakes when it comes to protective styles, I'm also going to give you guys some pointers that you can apply or that you should take note of if you're trying to use protective styles to grow your hair and to keep your hair healthy. And now let's get right into the mistakes. The first mistake and the most obvious one is that you're making your protective style too tight. The second mistake is that you leave them in for too long. You're completely neglecting your hair once you make the style or for the duration of time you make the style. So you don't moisturize your hair, you don't hydrate your hair, you have forgotten what a leave-in conditioner is, you've forgotten what oiling your scalp is, you've just forgotten all about your hair until you take down the hairstyle. You manipulate your hair too much in the process of making the style or in the process of taking down the style. The reason it's called a protective style is because it's low manipulation and it does not require you to tug at your hair excessively while you are trying to make this style. Doing this just negates the entire purpose and you will strain your hair, you will strain your scalp, you can even cause injuries to your scalp, which will also affect the way your hair grows. Your hair was not prepared properly before you went in to do the protective style, and last but not least, you may not be protecting your hair properly at night. Protective styles that are done with the intent of retaining length, I want to point out two things to you. Number one, the style must not be tight whatsoever. It can be firm so that it does not unravel, but it should not be tight. Tight meaning grab or grip your scalp too much so that you see sores at the scalp. The second thing is even the body of the hair, that's where you make the style, the entire body of your hair should not also be tight. You can grab your hair at the scalp too tight, and you can also make the body of the hair when it is styled too tight. So your hairstyles should be done firmly, they should be done neatly, all the hair should be gathered and put into the style, but it should not be so tight that you have a headache or you cannot even move the section of hair that you have styled. So whether it's braids, whether it's twists, whether it's cornrows, ponytails are a different story entirely because ponytails are the exact embodiment of what I just described, meaning they are too tight because of the things you use to make the ponytail, except you use moisturizing products. Most of the time when we make ponytails, we use binders, we use stylers, we use gels that hold the hair in place, and the hair is scrubbed and dragged and bound into a bun or whatever it is that is going to be styled into that ponytail, but the entire hair is just cleaned from the scalp. A ponytail is not even a protective style, even though people like to call it a protective style. Anything that stresses the hair, that strains the hair, I personally would not call it a protective style. When you make styles this way and they cause tension to the hair and scalp, you will put your hair at risk of excess breakage, shedding, hair loss. You may also experience sores all around your scalp. You will also experience tension around your edges, the crown of your hair, and you may even have headaches for the duration of time that you have this hairstyle, or for the first few days that you have this hairstyle, whether or not you are tender-headed. And then imagine what happens when you make such a hairstyle repeatedly. Two, you are leaving your hairstyle in for too long. Ideally, when you make a protective style, if you are not going to be using extensions, the perfect time to wear that style is anywhere from 1 week to 4 weeks, depending on how small the sections are that you styled your hair in. So 1 week to 4 weeks is okay, during which time you will be taking proper care of the style and your hair and scalp. But I have encountered people who have left in protective styles for months at a time. I'm talking about 6 months. The highest I met someone who left a style in was 9 months. And she just gave me a bunch of reasons why she left the style in for that time. But then at the end of the 9 months, she was busy struggling, trying to find out how to detangle the hair, how to separate the hair, and how to get her hair back in one piece. Whereas if she would have made out a little time to manage the hair from the first month, she wouldn't have been in such a situation. And then the thing is, this lady had very long hair. So it's an entirely different story if your hair is very short. Maybe if your hair is a teeny mini afro, or maybe eyebrow length hair, or at most shoulder length hair. But once your hair is getting longer, I am telling you, you need to be very careful about your hair practices, especially if you are trying to get the hair to grow even longer. You cannot be taking such risks leaving a hairstyle in, whether it is chunky twists, whether it's chunky braids, whether it's African threading, anything that will cause your hair to mat at the roots and cause it to be difficult to detangle. You want to avoid that altogether. So avoid leaving your hairstyles in too long. Aim for 1 week to 4 weeks if you don't add extensions to the hair. And even when you add extensions, try to aim for no more than 3 months. I would say 2 months, but some people will not want to do 2 months, maybe because of how much they spent on the hairstyle. So aim for 3 months and let it not pass 3 months, and stay on top of your hair care. You are not moisturizing your hair or taking care of your hair while you have the hairstyle in. This one is something so many people are guilty of. Once they make a protective style, it's like the entire purpose of the style is to forget all about their hair for a duration of time. And then whenever they take off the hairstyle, they continue their hair care from where they stopped. But it's not supposed to be so. For me, what I do, if I'm trying to avoid moisture touching the body of my hair, I'll just focus on my scalp. So I'll apply water to my scalp, oil, and massage my scalp, because that's where the hair growth happens. And after that, I will dry my scalp, maybe step outside for air to touch my scalp so that it doesn't smell. This goes a long way as opposed to completely ignoring my hair and scalp while I have the hairstyle. Then towards the end of the period of time I'll be wearing the hair, I can moisturize the body of my hair. Too much manipulation during installation or takedown. A protective style is supposed to be minimal tension, minimal manipulation, but give you effective results that you will see at the end of the duration that you have the hairstyle in for. So please take note of these things. You should not be stressing your scalp. You should not be stressing your hair. You should pay attention to how much tension is applied, whether you're the one making the hairstyle by yourself or whether someone else is doing it for you. And there's some manner of installing hairstyles like cornrows, where the stylist will grab the hair and make it as tight as possible so that it will last as long as possible for the person wearing the style. And in these cases, because of how tight the hairstyle is done, by the time you're loosening the section, you're pulling strands of your hair out, which is not good and which is what you don't want. You're using extensions that are drying out your hair. Unfortunately, most people add extensions to their protective style so that the style lasts longer. And unfortunately as well, a lot of the extensions that are meant to protect the hair are made and preserved with chemicals, and so you just get the extension, you just use it on your hair. If you take, say, a pack of braiding hair, it's this hot water and vinegar treatment that people started doing with braiding hair because they noticed that they were sensitive to the braiding hair. That's the braiding hair was causing issues on the scalp like itching, even bleeding on the scalp. They decided to rinse the braiding hair in water and vinegar and you will see all the treatments that's used to preserve the braiding hair in the water by the time you take the braiding hair out. Braiding hair dries out hair. Brazilian wool dries out hair because it's wool. Also note, the longer you leave them in for, the more they dry out your hair, which is why you need to make sure that if you're using extensions, you want to stay on top of your moisturizing for your hair's sake. And another thing, if you use these extensions and you observe that they are irritating your scalp, you would easily be able to tell, because maybe you've used some other extension before you used this particular one and the other extension did nothing to your hair, but then you used a particular extension and started observing that your hair and your scalp was reacting negatively to the extension, maybe itching, maybe even the bleeding I'm speaking about. Please, it's very okay to take down that protective style regardless of how much you spent. The condition of your scalp and making sure your scalp and your hair remain healthy is way more important than beauty. Your hair was not prepped properly before styling, something that a lot of people can also relate to. Most people don't even know that you're supposed to do your entire wash day routine. Most people also don't even have a wash day routine. But before you go to do a protective style, especially one you're going to be wearing for a considerable amount of time, you want to wash your hair, condition, properly detangle, deep condition well to moisturize your hair and make sure the product enters your hair very well. And then you want to dry out your hair, straighten your hair or stretch your hair if the style is going to need stretched hair. Essentially, you just need to do your entire wash day routine and moisture routine. The only difference is after the entire routine, you're going to be getting your hair styled. So if you cannot do all of that in one day, I also suggest splitting it into 2 days. This way, you will not even feel completely exhausted, especially if you're going to be doing the entire thing from start to finish by yourself, including styling your hair. And last but not least, you are not protecting your hair and your scalp at night. I feel like hair and scalp protection is something people underestimate. Once you start growing your hair, and I also tell people the longer your hair gets, the more attention you need to pay to the hair. Once you start taking care of your hair and you make protective styles, you are also going to need to have a nighttime routine, and the least you can do for your hair is use a certain bonnet or sleep on a certain pillowcase at night. Air conditioning is one thing that dries out the hair tremendously and people don't even know it. Speaking from experience, I have slept in air-conditioned rooms, and by the time I wake up, apart from my body feeling very dry, my hair feels very dry as well, and I need to moisturize my hair just because of that. So if you sleep in an air-conditioned room, use certain pillowcases, use a certain bonnet. Make sure you moisturize when your hair feels dry. Typically, for people that say their main goal is length retention, that they want to see their hair gets longer, they also want to increase the volume of the hair, I recommend ditching extensions for a certain period of time. 3 months, 6 months, 6 months is half a year. You will definitely do more than 6 months, but for starters, do 1 month. Once you can get to 1 month, you will definitely be able to get to 3 months, and then you'll get to 6 months and subsequently a year. But there are also people who cannot do without extensions, maybe by the nature of their job. If you are one of such people and you're looking for safe extensions to use, I recommend kinky extensions. Kinky extensions are more similar to natural hair texture, and because of that, you will not need to continuously stretch your hair or straighten your hair or apply heat to your hair so that you can make your hair in a protective style. So please note, you can aim for using just your hair to make these styles. If your hair is not long enough as well, just go for kinky extensions to add length and volume to the hair, and you'll definitely get the style that you want done. Another pointer is moisturizing your hair. I moisturize my hair twice in a week. The first time is when I wash my hair on the weekend, and the second time is the middle of the week for my midweek moisturizing routine. The third pointer I want to say is the satin bonnet, the satin pillowcase. I use a bonnet, I have satin scarves, I have a satin pillowcase, and I make sure I keep my hair protected at night. I also massage my scalp with oils. This helps to improve blood flow circulation throughout the scalp, and it also helps my hair to grow from the scalp because the scalp is where the growth process happens. Then when I make my protective styles, depending on the style, I make sure my ends are moisturized before the style is done. It's one thing to moisturize the body of your hair, but people often forget the ends, and I used to be one of the people who forgot about the ends of my hair. And so because of that, I will have my hair break excessively without knowing what was causing it. But when I started paying attention to the ends of my hair, I'm telling you, even the ends of my hair became stronger and less prone to breakage. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned a thing or two. Please, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.